66 million years ago, the reign of the dinosaurs had endured for about 165 million years, seemingly unchangeable. The Earth was a lush paradise, basking in warmth, with vast forests teeming with diverse trees, flowers, ferns, and countless creatures. Dinosaurs dominated this world, evolving into a myriad of species of all shapes and sizes. In this ancient Eden, the enormous titanosaurs, gentle giants, roamed alongside well-known predators like the Tyrannosaurus rex and the Edmontosaurus. Pectinodon hunted in the dense foliage, while Edmontosaurus strolled along coastlines and wetlands. It was a world overflowing with life and abundance. On an otherwise ordinary Tuesday, life for the dinosaurs seemed just as it had for millions of years. Days blurred into millennia, each as serene as the last. Life was favorable for our feathered friends. Then, an almost imperceptible change appeared in the sky. If any dinosaurs had been stargazers, they might have noticed a new speck in the heavens. Small at first, but gradually growing larger and brighter over several weeks. On one decisive night, it shone like a second, smaller moon before slipping into Earth's shadow. The facade of normalcy held for a few more hours, but by morning, the object re-emerged. Now almost as bright as the sun, it grew rapidly, hurtling toward the coast near the Yucatan Peninsula. In mere moments, the asteroid pierced the atmosphere, traveling at nearly 60 times the speed of sound. Let's pause this moment in time. Here, we see the unnamed asteroid on the brink of disaster. Larger than Mount Everest, it towers from the ocean's surface high into the atmosphere, higher than where passenger planes would fly millions of years later. In this instant, the world was as it had been. In a fraction of a second, everything would transform. Let's cross this cataclysmic threshold. As the asteroid collided with the shallow ocean and bedrock below, the energy unleashed was equivalent to billions of nuclear bombs, vaporizing the asteroid instantly. A blinding flash illuminated the sky, and an intense white sphere expanded over the Gulf of Mexico. The bedrock transformed into molten plasma, reaching tens of thousands of degrees Celsius. The thermal radiation from the explosion traveled at the speed of light. The impact force was so immense that the Earth's crust flowed away from the impact site like liquid, forming a crater 25 kilometers deep and 100 kilometers wide. The ocean was displaced for hundreds of kilometers, similar to a child cannonballing into a puddle. As the crust rebounded, the molten rock formed a temporary mountain stretching 10 kilometers into the sky. An immense volume of material was ejected into the upper atmosphere and beyond, some even escaping into space. The sheer violence of the strike reverberated around the globe within minutes, triggering an earthquake of unparalleled magnitude, possibly the most powerful quake any living being had ever experienced. In India, the tremors might have ignited massive volcanic eruptions, covering half the subcontinent with lava over the next 30,000 years. Even on the opposite side of the Earth, the ground shook violently. No creature would find peace on this day. The colossal explosion battered the atmosphere with unprecedented force, creating a shockwave that reached speeds exceeding 1,000 kilometers per hour near the impact site, comparable to the hyperhurricanes of Neptune. In Central America, soil, vegetation, and animals were shredded and flung thousands of kilometers away. Then, the displaced oceans returned. As the temporary mountain collapsed, a ring of tsunamis, towering as high as 1 kilometer, surged in all directions. These waves, enough to engulf skyscrapers humans would build millions of years later, crashed into the coasts of continents, drowning thousands of kilometers of shoreline. 15 hours later, some waves, refracted around South America, still loomed 100 meters high. But this was not the end of the catastrophe. Much of the debris hurled into space orbited Earth for thousands of years, some hitting the Moon or even Mars. Most, however, rained back down, re-entering the atmosphere at high speeds. This material heated up, turning the air to an oven-like heat. This intense heat, along with raining debris, ignited forest floors, sparking wildfires that raged globally. Within hours, Earth was transformed into a hellscape, ablaze with wildfires that may have burned for months. By the end of the impact day, many dinosaurs were already dead, but the most devastating effects were yet to unfold. A gigantic plume of vaporized material reached the upper atmosphere, encircling the globe. Together with soot from the fires and aerosols generated by the impact, the planet plunged into darkness. Only the glow of remaining wildfires illuminated the landscape. Whatever plants survived the initial inferno were now starved of sunlight as photosynthesis halted. Temperatures plummeted by up to 25 degrees Celsius within days. The ocean suffered greatly. Deprived of sunlight, over 90% of plankton, crucial to the marine food web, perished. This collapse reverberated up the food chain, leading to the extinction of large marine reptiles and ammonites. The biosphere survivors found themselves in an alien world. Ash, debris, and the charred remnants of a once flourishing ecosystem covered the land. The sky was dark, the air cold, and fresh food scarce, while fungi thrived. For months and years, the planet remained hostile and deadly. A sudden global winter gripped Earth for decades. At least 75% of all species vanished. As the day ended, the world had irrevocably changed. The continuity that had endured for millions of years was no more. The age of dinosaurs was over, just like that. From the ashes of the old world, new life emerged. Birds, the direct descendants of dinosaurs, and mammals began their rise to dominance. Without the asteroid's impact, who knows what life on Earth might look like today? The disruption of dinosaur continuity allowed our own evolution and eventual dominance. The duration of the human era remains uncertain. Modern humans have existed for just 0.1% of the time dinosaurs did. In this brief span, we've achieved remarkable feats, from conquering the world to reaching space and splitting the atom. Yet, our future and long-term survival are not guaranteed. Unlike the dinosaurs, we know our continuity is fragile. We can prepare, stay vigilant, and remain hopeful. If fortunate, our journey will continue for a long, long time.